Right. Welcome to all of the attendees. Thank you all for joining us today. I see a few more attendees trickling in, so I just want to give a few seconds for everyone to get settled. So we're still taking out for a second. All right. Well, thank you. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Bay Area Virtual Case Study Virtual College Fair Explore sessions. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screens to type in your questions to our presenters at any time. All of your cameras are off and your microphones are off as well, so the panelists cannot hear or see you, but they can respond to your questions directly using the Q&A. And this is just one of the many different sessions happening, so be sure to sign up for more. This presentation is also being recorded and will be available within about a week at shrivescan.com/BACS. And we have a wonderful variety of schools for you today that will be presenting. And they are varying in size, location, and characteristics. So we hope this session broadens your horizons during your college search. And yes, we will start off with the University of San Francisco with Rebecca. Take it away.
Great, thank you. I'm going to share my screen really quickly here for everybody. All right. Okay, now I've done one of these before, and so it's a lot to get into college and hit all of the high points in 6 minutes, so I will do my best to not be a long-winded admissions counselor like I tend to be. So first of all, hi everybody, thanks for joining us on yet another Zoom webinar. It is not lost on us that you have chosen to take some more time to be online. I am Rebecca Williams. I'm an Associate Director of Admission at the University of San Francisco, located in San Francisco. So in just a few brief minutes, I want to just tell you, I think probably sort of the main pieces that you need to know about the university as we go through, and then we'll move on to the next presenter. So the first thing that I like to highlight is, and really kind of all the things I'm going to highlight in this brief time, is the sort of unchangeable factors about a university, right? So the things that you need to be excited about and okay with when you're thinking about applying to USF, and the things that you want. So we are located directly in the heart of the city of San Francisco, almost geographically center in the city. About 2.5 miles to the west takes you to the beach, and 2.5 miles east takes you to the bay. So we're truly an urban campus environment. And if that's something that you're looking for in a university, that's something that you're going to get with the University of San Francisco. More importantly, though, is aside from just our location, is just understanding, I think, the ethos of the university. I know right now it's especially difficult to really get to know a university because a lot of us, you can't visit the campus or you haven't had the opportunity to visit yet. And hopefully we seem to be opening back up and moving more in that direction. But in the meantime, I've sort of hit all of our kind of main core pieces here. But I would say most importantly, two of the things about USF that I think make it more, really make it stand out and really just make it USF is, first of all, our Jesuit background, but also our diverse student body population. So it's important to think about when you're going to college, who you're going to college with. So we have all 50 states represented. We have 98 countries represented, and 50% of our undergrads are coming from out of state. And about a third of our students are going to be the first in their family to go to college. And among that, we rank number 4 in the country for ethnic diversity. So we're actually even more diverse than the city of San Francisco itself, but ultimately very representative of the area that we live in, right? The Bay Area is well known for its diverse background, and USF is no exception to that. So I think we're highly representative of where we are and where we're located, and the values that we promote on the campus. And sort of to that piece is the Jesuit background. Some of you may know what Jesuit is, some of you may not. Probably most of you do at this point, but we're one of the 27 Jesuit Catholic colleges in the US. And so what that really means is that not necessarily that we have any specific religious expectation of you, but that we do expect you to be the type of student who is going to ask that now as part of the 5% of the world that has a college degree, how you will lead and serve the remaining 95%. This is a big core belief system and a big part of what I was talking about, like the ethos and the campus culture. So I think, more than facts and figures is identifying the campus culture is really important to understanding a university. So that Jesuit background and the idea of being men and women for others and servant leadership are incredibly important to our students, and I would say is probably the overwhelming theme and the kind of uniting factor for our student body. There really is no like one type of USF student, I would say. There are a lot of different types of USF student. There is no stereotypical USF experience. If you want to be a part of D1 athletics and cheer on and have that kind of home, that sort of school spirit feeling, you can go do that. If you want to be a part of a Greek life, fraternity, or sorority, we have about 30% of our students engaging with that. And then we have about 150 plus clubs and organizations. I identify all of those things because there isn't just one dominant type of social life or experience to have at USF. I do think that you're going to sort of get that, you get to sort of choose your own adventure there with the campus. Really quickly on the academic side of things, so we have 44 majors, 70 plus different minors. Ultimately, aside from our nursing and engineering program, if you're applying for admission, you are essentially admitted to all of the majors. You can switch your major. Most students have a major and a minor. That's totally fine. Nursing and engineering sort of stand alone in a different category. They're much more selective than our general admission, and so it's an important thing to keep in mind. But we are going to still have sort of your standard fare liberal arts curriculum. That is what we are at our core. We have a core curriculum that we expect all students to complete. And so you're going to still get that sort of small classroom experience. Average classes are about 22 students. So that kind of stereotypical small, medium-sized liberal arts college experience, you're still going to have that, but just in a very urban setting and with an incredibly diverse student body population. The application process, really straightforward. We're a Common App school. We are test optional. We are truly test optional. You do not need test scores, even for our more competitive programs like engineering and nursing. Letters of recommendation will continue to be optional going into this year. And then we just need your official transcripts. Early action and early decision deadline is November 1st. And early and regular decision is January 15th. And then I think I managed to keep it all really fast and really quick here in my 6 minutes. So if you want to stay in touch with us, do stay in touch with us. I think I will make a hard plug for our student panels because it is truly the best way to get to know a university is to know its students. And so if you're thinking and you're considering and looking at schools, getting to know our current students and engaging with our student panels are probably truly the best way to really know what USF is and what it has to offer. But with that, I will stop my share and turn it over.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Rebecca. And up next, we have Ross from Macalester College. Hey, Ross. Thanks.
Good evening, everybody. Hi there. Gonna do it old school with just me talking at you from my living room. Thank you for your attendance at a non-mandatory Zoom meeting. My name's Ross Braun from Brenner. I use the pronouns he, him, his. I'm an associate director of admissions and a member of the class of 2014 at Macalester College in St. Paul, Minnesota. And normally when I talk about Macalester in settings like this, I do like to lead with location. And I just want to get something in the room and emphasize that location has many parts at play right now, being in the Twin Cities of St. Paul and Minneapolis. And certainly it has been a challenging year for many communities, particularly communities of color and the Black community here in Minneapolis and St. Paul. And I'm going to talk about location and the value and benefit of our location in the Twin Cities, which I believe in and care about deeply. But I also want to ground us in the present moment. and acknowledge that there was a jury today in downtown Minneapolis that made a decision that says accountability is the first step toward reformative justice. And that a lot of folks in the Twin Cities are carrying a lot at McAllister and the Twin Cities as a whole. And I wanted to start there because it feels disingenuous in this current moment to start anywhere else. So hello from my living room in St. Paul. And let's dive in. McAllister, we're a small, private, selective, residential liberal arts college. There are a couple of schools that you're going to hear from that fit that description. So I'm going to skip all the descriptors of that, if only to say this is a small community, a name, not a number kind of place. Average class size is 17, student to faculty is 10 to 1. We play a lot of ultimate frisbee. You kind of get the general vibe. Two things that I think make McAllister distinct, things that help us stand out, reasons that folks often gravitate toward McAllister. One, as I led with, is location. We're a small school in a big city. We're in a state capital. We're a campus of about 2,000 students. We're 15 minutes from an airport. We're 15 minutes from downtown. We're 15 minutes from the state capitol building itself. If you stand in the center of our campus, you would be on any liberal arts college campus in America. You wouldn't have any idea that 100 yards to your left is 4 lanes of traffic and 2 intersecting bus lines, and oh, right, a major metropolitan area. I've heard our students describe it as a little bit of the best of both worlds, in that you get that small, tight-knit, personalized residential liberal arts campus, but you also get access to the major metropolitan area, job and internship opportunities, exploration of food and music and art and culture and service opportunities and political engagement, and, all of those things that come with that urban location as well. That's number one, is location. The second thing that I think makes McAllister distinct, I never use the word unique in higher education or college admissions because it's almost always untrue. There are a lot of great institutions doing a lot of great things, but distinct is our mission. There are 4 core values in the mission of McAllister. It's a commitment to academic excellence, to internationalism, to multiculturalism, and to service to society. And so right off the bat, if those resonate with you, if those are of value to you, if those are core values that you already hold or you want to engage with more, or give space to, give agency to, I imagine you're going to be pretty quick to find a sense of belonging at a school like McAllister. We're a very mission-driven institution. So if conversations about global citizenship and cultural competency and understanding one's place in the world, and through an academic and social and extracurricular lens, if the tenets of that mission really resonate with you, I think a place like McAllister could be a really good fit. And more often than not, when I talk to prospective students who become enrolled students, they will point to one or both of those things as ultimately what maybe put McAllister on their list. The idea of going to school in the Twin Cities in a major metropolitan area while still being a small campus, or gravitating toward that mission, that idea of academic excellence through the lenses of multiculturalism, internationalism, and service. So that's the brief elevator pitch. If elevators took 4.5 minutes. Again, I want to thank you for your time and being here. Just like all of my colleagues, you can learn so much about an institution virtually at this point: daily info sessions, tours, informational interviews, all sorts of stuff. So if one of those 2 things kind of piqued your interest about McAllister a little bit, I am the California rep as well. My last name is fairly recognizable. I'm easily findable on the McAllister website. I would be happy to connect. I'm a Bay Area native as well. I've got my little bridge in the background here. So if you need or want to talk about Minnesota weather, just let me know. I've made the transition. I've spent a decade in both states. But otherwise, I'll just thank you for your time. Thank you for attending a session to just learn a little bit more about schools. And I'll pass it off.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ross. Right, next up, we have Skidmore College.
All right.
Hey, Noah.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. I guess I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen. Can you all see that? Hopefully. Peter, can you give me a little confirmation that
You're all good.
Okay, great. Thank you. Appreciate it. Hello, everyone. I'm Noah Jenkins. I'm an assistant director in the Office of Admissions at Skidmore College, and I use he, him pronouns. Before I get into things, I just want to say thank you to Ross for calling our attention tonight to the national events that have been playing out. Certainly, I'm keeping you and in the McAllister community in my thoughts today, and hope you all are breathing a sigh of relief after the verdict today. I'm going to use the next couple of minutes that I have to share with you all some information about our institution. And without further ado, I think we'll get right into it. So we'll start with a photo. Everyone loves a good photo. This is our campus from above. Skidmore College is a small liberal arts school located in Saratoga Springs, New York. We enroll approximately 2,500 students total, all at the undergraduate level. And our students come from 40 different states around the country and 60 countries around the world. We have an 8-to-1 student to faculty ratio at Skidmore. That's a very competitive ratio, even for small colleges. So you get a lot of academic advising and close relationships with your professors. We also offer 40 different degree programs across the arts and sciences here. So for those of you who aren't super familiar with upstate New York geography, this is where Saratoga Springs is located within upstate New York. So we're about 30 minutes north of Albany, which is the capital of New York State, and we're about 3 hours equidistant between major East Coast cities like Boston, New York, and Montreal. But Saratoga Springs is a destination in its own right and actually has been a tourist location for over 200 years for various reasons. It's the site of a major battle in the Revolutionary War going back to the 1700s. In the early 19th century, people came to the area for the mineral springs, which gave the city its name. Around the time of the Civil War, horse racing was introduced to the community, and that continues to be a major attraction today. And Saratoga Springs has also developed into a hotspot for arts and culture in the region. We have a lot of great options for performing arts. The Saratoga Performing Arts Center is actually a great example of that. That's the photo in the top middle of your screen. They host a number of concerts throughout the summertime. Actually, the New York City Ballet and the Philadelphia Orchestra both have summer residencies there. And this is actually the venue that also hosts Skidmore's graduation every year. So our students will see this at least once during their 4 years. What's so great for our students is that, because of all of the attractions in the area, there's this massive influx of tourism that happens in the summertime. But after all of the tourists have gone home at the end of the summer, all of those businesses remain open throughout the year. So for our students, if they ever want to go downtown and explore the different shops or restaurants or museums that we have, it provides this really vibrant community to be a part of and a really exciting place to study for 4 years. This is a look at our different academic programs. Our most popular majors as of late have been business, English, psychology, political science, and studio art. We are definitely a college that's well known for our programs in the arts. And actually, an interesting fact is that for many of our art programs, including studio art, theater, and dance, they will actually lead to a Bachelor's of Science degree as opposed to a BA or a BFA. The reason for that is that they are taught from a pre-professional standpoint, but that is rather unique and something I haven't seen at many other universities. I've also included on this page some information about some of our early assurance programs and articulation agreements with partnering universities. These provide students with some additional pathways into other academic programs that maybe we don't offer at Skidmore, like nursing or engineering, but through partnering institutions, it provides them with a way that they can pursue those programs as well, while also getting a solid foundation in the liberal arts from Skidmore. So a phrase that you will often hear as you explore Skidmore is creative thought matters. Really, this is the philosophy that undergirds a lot of what we do at our campus. We really try to encourage faculty and students to engage in these different activities that allow them to make these really interesting connections between seemingly disparate areas of the academic curriculum. A great example of this is actually this photo here, if I can get my cursor, this one right here in the middle of your screen. This was actually a project that was taken on by the art and chemistry departments at Skidmore called Molecules That Matter. It was a project where they went about creating these different large-scale models of different compounds that were significant throughout the 20th century. And so these are actually on display in certain parts of campus still today if you came and visited. But that just goes to show you sort of the interesting connections that we like to make across the curriculum at Skidmore. And that's that sort of outside the box thinking is very indicative of the kind of students and professors that we attract. I think another real strength for Skidmore is the investment that we put into students' experiences outside of the classroom. There's a lot of experiential learning that goes on. For instance, about 20% of our students are able to conduct undergraduate research with our faculty. Again, being an entirely undergraduate institution, it opens up a lot of opportunities for students to get to know their professors early on and really build those personal relationships with them. 80% of our students will do at least one internship during their 4 years. 60% will study abroad at least once. So all of these things collectively, give the students a really great opportunity to apply what they're learning in the classroom in meaningful ways outside of that. And there's definitely a lot of substantial financial support that goes along with that too, for things like career exploration or different professional development opportunities. Skidmore has put a lot of time and effort into providing those resources to students so that it can open up more doors for them post-college. Some other things to note about Skidmore's campus life is that we don't have any Greek life, so no fraternities or sororities here. Student organizations definitely play a much larger role, I think, at our campus in providing programming and an outlet for students to connect with one another around shared interests. So we have over 100 different options to choose from there. We also field 19 varsity teams at the Division III level. We have phenomenal dining facilities on campus. We've been ranked 7th best in the country by Business Insider. Most of our students will choose to live on campus for all 4 years. Housing is guaranteed. For those of you who may be coming from the West Coast and traveling, your student is allowed to bring a car with them when they arrive on campus for all 4 years. So that is really great. And I know our parking rates on campus are very competitive. But another thing too to note is if you don't have a car and you're wondering about transportation in the area, you do have access to the local bus system and public transit, which will be free with your student ID. There's a bus that will come to campus right behind the student center every 30 minutes. All right, and then I'll just kind of close out here with just a quick conversation about our admissions and financial aid. We accept both the common application and the coalition application. Either is fine with us. We offer 2 rounds of binding early decision and 1 round of regular decision. Like many selective liberal arts schools, we enroll about half of our class through our 2 rounds of ED, and the deadlines for each of those respective rounds is noted in the top right hand of the screen. We are a test optional school. I've been very happy hearing from so many other peer institutions that they have also gone test optional. This is maybe the 5th or 6th year that we've done this and plan to do this even after the pandemic. For any of you that may be thinking about taking the SAT or ACT in the next year, I did include our average test scores for admitted students here just to give you an idea of what we typically see. And I will also emphasize that we do accept self-reported test scores. So you can just write these in on the common application. You don't have to pay College Board $12 to send us an official report. You can wait until you actually enroll at Skidmore before sending us the official thing. So highly recommend that you do that. And then lastly, just a quick note about financial aid. We do meet 100% of students' demonstrated need, looking at both the FAFSA and the CSS profile together. Although much of our financial aid budget goes to meeting need-based aid, we do have 2 merit scholarships, both valued at $15,000 a year, 1 in math and science and 1 in music. All right, so I think I have expired my time, so I will pass the mic to the next person.
No worries. Thank you so much, Noah. All right, next up, we have our rep from Babson College. Hey, Carly, take it away.
Hi, everyone. All right, thank you so much. I'm just going to share my screen really quick and then I will get started. Okay, so hopefully everyone can see that. Let me know if there's any problems.
You're all good.
Great, thank you. But I'm here to talk tonight about Babson College. We're located in Wellesley, Massachusetts. But my name is Carly Ryan. I am a Senior Regional Assistant Director here at Babson. So I'm actually located in Southern California. So if anyone does have any questions, please reach out to me. I work with students from the West Coast. I also work with transfer students as well. I know you've gotten a lot of really great information tonight, so I appreciate you taking some time to learn about Babson. I'm going to just jump right in to my little presentation here. So Babson College educates entrepreneurial leaders who create great economic and social value everywhere. We are a business college here in Massachusetts, and entrepreneurial leadership is something extremely important to us. It's our focus that we teach our students really from the start here. Our students are leaders already, but once they come to campus, they're really amplifying those skills right when they step foot. So maybe you want to start your own business, or if you're wanting to learn about aspects of business, anywhere in between, we're going to teach our students through small hands-on classes how to take risks, how to think outside the box, not be afraid of failure, and if failure does present itself, how to pivot. So anywhere in this industry of business that you're looking, we're a really great place to call home, and I'll talk to you about some different things that we offer. We have been rated the #1 college for entrepreneurship for 24 years and counting. So it is something that we really like to talk to our students about, and I'll touch on some of our academic opportunities in just a minute. But a little bit about the location of Babson. We're 10 miles outside of the city of Boston, so students can use and access the city, whether that's for social reasons or internships or career opportunities. And we have the best of both worlds here. We have a residential campus for our students that's all enclosed and beautiful and green, but we also are right next to a hustling, bustling city, so you get the opportunities of both sides, whatever you like there. A little bit on our class profile, the class of 2024, we have about 600 students per class. And then as you can see some of the statistical breakdowns of our class, we have a really global campus. We have a lot of different people calling Babson their home. So students get to learn from each other from different backgrounds and cultures, and also teach from their own experiences. Our class sizes are relatively small. We want you to learn directly from the professors. So we have a 14:1 student to faculty ratio, and an average class size of about 30 students. Our admit rate is about 27%. We have a few different ways you can apply through early action, early decision, and regular decision. And like many other schools, we did go test optional. So right now, we will be a test optional school for the near future. But if you did want to submit your scores, there are some examples there of what we're looking for our ranges. So here at Babson, students will graduate with a Bachelor of Science in Business. We don't have standard majors or minors like some other of the schools have talked about. Our degree is solely in business, but we have 27 concentrations to complement that degree. And those range from everything. So different liberal arts. We have some partnerships with Olin, which is an engineering school. You can take language courses to pair as well. So students are getting those different backgrounds in liberal arts without necessarily having a core requirement or anything like that. You get to kind of tailor those to customize your own career path, whether that's declaring a concentration or just taking some of those courses to learn from some different backgrounds and other industries there. And two classes I do like to touch on. Babson is really big on experiential learning. So every college, of course, teaches you how to think, but Babson really likes to teach you how to do as well. So these are courses. The first one is FME, Foundations of Management and Entrepreneurship. That is a class all freshmen will take where you actually will start your own business. So students will come in, sample some different business ideas, get some funding from the college, and then a handful of them will make it to the final round where students will actually have their business come to life. Sell different products around the campus, around the community, around the world, really. And with any of those earnings, they'll actually donate them to a charity of their choice. So it's a really cool way to try and start up a business, see what that's like, see if you're interested in that. We've had some students who decide, you know, they don't like the entrepreneurship part, but they do like learning about HR, or they do like learning about the financial aspect. So it really gives you kind of a broad picture of all different business aspects there. Another one that we talk about is McPhee, so Management Consulting Field Experience. This is, of course, a consulting class, but students have worked with companies like Dunkin' Donuts. They've worked with the Boston Red Sox and offered consulting to them on a range of projects like marketing, sustainability, social media, web, stuff like that. And then internships are pretty big. We've had 90% of our students do at least one internship at Babson. Here's just some student life activities. We have 22 Division III teams. We have Greek life on campus, over 100 student clubs and organization, and a bunch of different campus events. And if you wanted to go to Boston, of course, as I mentioned, we're about 10 miles out. And then just here are, you know, a smart investment for Babson. Of course, we have some of these different boxes here that you can read, but we do like to focus on the career aspect hand in hand with your academics. We have a dedicated career office for those internships that you're looking for. 99% of our class of 2019 were employed or attending grad school within 6 months of graduation, and that number held true for the class of 2020, even with a couple of different things thrown their way. So it's something that we really like to talk about, that your career is the #1 focus here. And then finally, we look at the FAFSA and CSS, and Babson meets 100% of demonstrated need for US and Canadian students applying for financial aid. So we do have a few scholarships offered, but since we put our finances towards our need-based financial aid, only about 10% of our students do get those scholarships. So just keep an eye out if those are applicable. You can apply for them online. And then our contact page, if you've heard anything that you have any questions on, please reach out. Again, I'm located in California, so I would love to either meet with you or set up an appointment to chat further about Babson. But thank you all so much for coming, and I'll turn it over to the next school.
Thank you so much, Carly. All right, next presenter we have is from Whitman College. Hey, Phoebe.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hello,
perfect.
everyone. Sorry about that. My name is Phoebe Blaisdell. I use they, them pronouns, and I am an admission officer at Whitman who works with our students from San Francisco and the East Bay area. Whitman is a small liberal arts college. It is located in Walla Walla, Washington, and we are located on the traditional homelands of the Cayuse, Umatilla, and Walla Walla peoples. As an institution, the themes I'll really be covering today are accessible resources and engaged academics. So in this next slide, I have a few of the main numbers to know about the school, including our student-faculty ratio and where some of our alumni end up immediately after graduation. But in terms of what's really important to know, Whitman is a school like no other in a place like no other. Professors and fellow students become lifelong mentors and friends. You'll also find connections based on shared interests in research, community service, exploration, adventure. We are a nationally ranked liberal arts college located in a very unique part of the world. I don't know who's been to Southeastern Washington, but it's a very wonderful place to be. In terms of academics, we like to use the phrase a different kind of academic rigor. What we mean by that is that Whitman prides itself on cultivating a deep sense of engagement with academic subjects, one that really relies heavily on interdisciplinary studies, faculty and peer collaboration, experiential opportunities that include like field trips, labs, community projects, study abroad, things like that. I think one of the best examples from campus that sort of encompasses all of this is Semester in the West. It is one of our 80 different off-campus studies programs. You can see a route of the trip there, as well as a photo that was taken in the most recent trip in 2018. The next one's coming up this fall in 2021. But basically it's a semester-long road trip. It goes around the American West, focusing on public land conservation and rural life, basically from Montana to New Mexico, and then to the Pacific. And interdisciplinarily, it studies environmental studies, politics, history, sociology, ethics and philosophy. You meet so many different stakeholders, including public land managers, tribal leaders, ranchers, conservationists. This program is something that really facilitates the face-to-face learning, and that's something that is very important at Whitman. We also offer a number of cool programs such as 3-2 dual degree programs in engineering, oceanography, and forestry and land management, as well as something called a combined major. This is an option that Whitman students have if they want to major in an intersection of two subjects. So instead of double majoring in physics and astronomy, you would major in physics astronomy and study that intersection from the time you declare your major at the end of your sophomore year up through graduation, and really work on research in that intersection. The next thing we'll be discussing is the co-curricular. Co-curricular was a new phrase for me when I arrived in Walla Walla, but basically instead of extracurricular, it's the understanding that you do not leave your hobbies or your recreational activities at the door when you come to Whitman. You are also going to be a student who is using those values and those memories from theater or sports to inform who you are as an academic. With over 120 student organizations, we have affinity groups, club and intramural sports. You certainly do not struggle to fill your time by any stretch of the imagination. A day might look like classes in the morning, orchestra at noon, a lab in the afternoon, club practice out on the field, and then speed friending with an affinity group later that night. So you have a lot of different opportunities to meet people. One of the major ways to do that is through community service. Upwards of 70% of Whitman students are involved with at least one community service organization, from gleaning leftover produce, redistributing it to local food banks, as well as things like working in local schools, like Jessica is doing in this photo. Whitty's really internalized that your area of impact begins where you are geographically and what communities you are in now. And Walla Walla is an incredibly dynamic and engaged place to start those experiences. The final thing I will mention here are resources. This is actually why I decided that I wanted to work at Whitman. Whitman is exceptionally good at publicizing what it has on offer, what you can take advantage of as a student. In terms of things that you might not have clear access to in a different setting, Whitman offers things like the Whitman Internship Grant. It ranges from $1,500 for a semester domestically up to $5,000 for a summer abroad. 91% of students will use the Whitman Internship Grant at least once, and it can be in any field, any country, any sort of opportunity. Another resource that I really like to mention to sort of highlight how Whitman makes things accessible is the Bob Carson Outdoor Fund. It is $150 a year for students to take advantage of where we are. Walla Walla is less than an hour away from skiing, the Columbia River, the Palouse, hiking, everything you might want to do in terms of outdoor recreation. And if you haven't had access to that before, the Bob Carson Outdoor Fund makes sure that that is accessible to every student on campus. Finally, I'm going to touch a little bit on admission and financial aid at Whitman. We do accept the common application with two deadlines, but 3 rounds: early decision 1 on November 15th, early decision 2, and regular decision on January 15th. We are using a holistic admission process. There's no one part of your application that will make or break your admission, but it's also important to know that we are test optional, have been test optional since 2016, and we also offer, but highly encourage, interviews. If you apply before December 1st at Whitman College, the application fee is waived. Finally, in terms of financial aid, we offer 3 types of award: need-based, merit-based, and talent-based awards. What's important to know at Whitman is that 82% of our students are on some type of financial aid. 2/3 of those students graduate without debt. And of the third of students that do graduate with debt, their debt is on average $15,000 lower than the national average. Whitman does accessibility exceptionally well. With that, if you have any interest in getting in contact, please feel free to reach out to myself or Henry Whipple or Heidi Chapin, who are the other admission officers who work in the Bay Area. Thank you all so much for giving me your time, and I look forward to chatting with you soon. Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Phoebe. All right. And we have our last presentation from the University of Redlands. And just a reminder to all the attendees, we'll have a few moments after this presentation to ask all of our panelists some questions so you can find out some additional information about each of the schools. Take it away.
Alrighty, thank you. Alrighty, well, thank you for sticking around this long. My name is Dulce Garcia. I use she, her, hers pronouns, and I'm representing University of Redlands. We are located in the traditional homelands of the Serrano and Cahuilla people. So just a little bit about where we are located. University of Redlands is a small private liberal arts university in Southern California. We are right smack in the middle of SoCal. So we're close to beaches, mountains, desert, LA, Anaheim, all the things that you could possibly want to be around when you are in college. A really great thing about Redlands is that we're not only located in really amazing places, but we are also a destination. Redlands has been named one of the top college towns by AAA magazine a few years ago. So definitely a really great place to call home for the next 4 years. Also, our temperature can't be beat. Average temperature is about 80 degrees year round. So pretty great there. So Redlands is a small university. We do have 160 acres, again, nestled in Southern California. We do have 2,500 undergraduates. We are predominantly a residential university. Most of our students live on campus. We do have a 4-year housing guarantee, and about 70% of our students take us up on that offer. So again, it is a very tight-knit community. Most of our students live on campus, so you can imagine there's tons of activities. Again, a really tight-knit community. So definitely really great benefits to being in a campus like Redlands. Something that we pride ourselves on is being a very inclusive, very diverse campus. About 50% of our students identify as students of color. About 33% of our students are the first in their families to go to college. So we do have a lot of students coming from different backgrounds, different experiences. So really enriching the atmosphere at the U of R. But definitely one of the most important things about Redlands is our mission statement. So who are we as an institution? The University of Redlands says that we want to educate the heart and the mind of the scholar. So we really value the heart, which is all of your social extracurricular activities mixed in with your mind. So that is all the academic experiences that you are having at Redlands. We really believe that by combining those two, it really allows you to be a more powerhouse, essentially, that you are going to be a well-rounded person, that you are going to be able to serve communities to the best of your abilities. So that's one of the main focuses at Redlands, is really combining, again, what happens in the classroom with what's happening outside of the classroom. So student life at Redlands. So again, community is a really big portion of your education at Redlands. You'll see here that it's really easy to get involved on our campus. We do have over 100 clubs and organizations that you can be a part of. So we do have Greek life. So if that's something that you are interested in, great. About 25% of our students are active members in a Greek organization. Something cool to know about Redlands is that we do not have any national social fraternities or sororities. So all of our Greek organizations only belong at University of Redlands. So you'll never find one quite just like the one that you've joined at Redlands. So something fun to keep in mind. We also are a D3 university, so we do have 21 sports that qualify under Division III. One of the most important things at Redlands is our commitment to service. So all of our students are actually required to do community service before they graduate from Redlands. You do need to do 80 hours of service. So that is really important to us, again, developing your heart and your mind. So those things are going to allow our students to have real hands-on experiences on things that they're maybe having conversations in classrooms. Again, I did talk a little bit about our inclusivity on our campus. So we are a smaller institution, like I said, 2,500 undergraduates, but we are in Southern California. So we're in a pretty diverse part of the world. So we definitely represent the location where we're at pretty well. We do offer a few services for our students. We do have the Multicultural Center, the Pride Center, the Gender Justice Center, the Native Student Programs, First Generation Student Programs, and the Office of International Student Scholars as well. So different ways that you can be involved on our campus. I did mention sports. So we do have 21 sports that qualify in Division III. We're pretty competitive in Division III. So if you're looking to play, a really great sport, but really enjoy your academics as well, definitely consider Redlands. We do take pride on the fact that we are a residential university. Like I said, most people live on campus, and we do have tons of academic support for our students. So whether that be tutoring or you need disability services, that's definitely one of the things that we're able to help our students with as they are going through the experience at Redlands. Academically, we do really pride ourselves on a personalized education. We do have a 13:1 student to faculty ratio where the average classroom is about 18 students. So it really gives our students the opportunity to ask questions, to be able to think critically, to be able to engage with others. It also gives you the opportunity to take benefit of doing research and internships with professors. We are only 60 miles east from Los Angeles. So if you're looking for some internships in that area, definitely very accessible, or somewhere in the close metropolitan area, which is San Bernardino and Riverside, those things are also very accessible as well. Some of our majors are listed here. We do have over 40 programs of study, so they're pretty diverse. They go from business, economics, to theater, creative writing, to biology, so quite the plethora of programs. Some of our programs to take note of is the Johnson Center for Integrative Studies. So for students who are looking to create their own major, develop their own pathway, definitely consider Johnston. School of Music, we are one of the oldest schools of music in the state of California, and it is conservatory style education. We do have really great programs in study abroad. We do have over 100 destinations, and we do have our own castle in Salzburg, Austria. And here you can see we do have a focus on your future. So over 90% of our students who graduate from University of Redlands are either employed or going off to graduate school within a year of leaving University of Redlands. We do have a 4-year graduation guarantee, which is really important in the state of California. Nothing is impacted on our campus. In terms of admissions, we do accept the common application. We do pride ourselves on a holistic review process. So we're looking at a combination of everything that you are offering our admissions committee. We are a test optional institution, so we will continue to be test optional. So if you want to submit test scores, great. If you don't think that they represent you quite well enough, then you can definitely opt to not submit those. We do have 3 different application deadlines for 2 different dates. So we do have early decision and early action on November 15th, and then regular decision on January 15th. And for transfer admissions as well. And for financial aid, we do offer merit, need-based financial aid, and talent-based financial aid. So definitely check us out for more information on that. So there's some more here, but if you have any questions, please feel free to connect with us, and one of us will be happy to connect with you. There's a few counselors in our office that deal with the Bay Area. I'm one of them, so I'm happy to connect with you in the future, but I think that is it for us.
Excellent. Thank you so much. All right, we only have about a minute left, so I do want to ask all of our panelists to turn on their cameras very quickly, and we can do one question, quick round robin style for all of your schools. And one of my favorite questions to hear about from everyone is, how about you all give an interesting or fun fact about your schools? So we'll start from the top with University of San Francisco. Rebecca.
Great. I'll be very fast. Fun fact that I think is most interesting probably to you is that every year we have Donnaroo, which is our on-campus music festival that we have every year. Janae Aiko, Ty Dolla $ign. I really show my age when I try to say these names. But yes, that is probably, I think, one of our funnest facts about the school.
Perfect. Ross?
I'll go the name an alum who's fun as a fun fact route. Denai Guerrera, who was Okoye in Black Panther, who the scene where she throws the wig and it's amazing, is a MAC alum and does a lot of stuff with us. And so we basically screen that movie 24/7 in our campus center.
Thank you. All right, Skidmore. Next, Noah.
All right. I'll talk a little bit about athletics. Our mascot is the Thoroughbreds, kind of hearkening to our connection to the racing scene in Saratoga. But actually, before it was the Thoroughbreds, it was the Wombats. Pretty unique.
All right, next up is Babson.
Great, thank you. When we were first founded, our students actually had to come in professional dress and punch in to go to class, which is something that's pretty unimaginable now, but just shows the business roots.
Yeah. I can also say that, I'm so sorry, Peter. I can also say that Whitman College has a 9-to-1 student faculty ratio, but a 1-to-1 student tree ratio. So everyone comes and claims theirs when they arrive on campus.
Perfect. And last, University of Redlands, go ahead.
Alrighty, great. A really fun fact about University of Redlands is that our mascot is the Bulldogs, but we actually have a live mascot. Her name is Addie. She's the first female mascot at University of Redlands, and we've had one since 1918, so she's a pretty big deal. You can follow her on TikTok and Instagram and all that fun stuff. She's pretty active.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We really appreciate your time this evening. So we will, when you close out your windows, you'll see a link that will pop up for a very quick 4-question survey. So we'd appreciate your feedback on that. And this is one of the many sessions happening today, so please sign up for more. And in about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as other session recordings at strivescan.com/BACS. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, facilitators. Y'all have a good evening. Bye, everyone.